Hi, in this video we are going to learn what are equivalent fractions and how to find two or more fractions are equivalent or not and questions based on equivalent fractions. Okay? In this video we are going to learn how to find out equivalent fractions, what are equivalent fractions and how to find out equivalent fractions for particular fraction. So, if we observe the following figures, in the first figure, half portion is shaded. That means if we cut this exactly into half, out of two parts, one part is shaded, 1 upon 2, half is shaded. And if in the second figure, two parts are shaded out of four parts. In the third figure, out of six parts, three parts are shaded. In the fourth figure, out of eight parts, four parts are shaded. What do we observe here? We see that the shaded regions in all the figures are the same. So, the fractions represented by these shaded portions are equal. That means 1 upon 2, 2 upon 4, 3 upon 6, 4 upon 8 are equivalent fractions. That means 1 upon 2 equals to 2 upon 4 equals to 3 upon 6 equals to 4 upon 8. These fractions are all same. Even though they look different, but their value is same. As we had already seen here, all these shaded portion is same, but they look different. Now let's see how to find out equivalent fraction for a given fraction. Let's say the fraction is 2 upon 7. When we multiply the numerator and the denominator of a fraction by the same non-zero number. Non-zero number means apart from 0, any number. We have to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number to get its equivalent fraction. Let's take here the same number as 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. 7 times 3 is 21. So 2 upon 7 equivalent fraction is 6 upon 21. Now you can also write multiple equivalent fraction for given fraction. One of the equivalent fraction is 6 upon 21. Let's find one more equivalent fraction for 2 upon 7. Let's multiply by 10. 2 times 10 is 20. 7 times 10 is 70. So, one of the another equivalent fraction is 20 upon 70. We can multiply by any number. Let's multiply by 5. So, 2 times 5 is 10. 7 times 5 is 35. So, one more equivalent fraction is 10 upon 35. Here we found three equivalent fractions for 2 upon 7. Like this, we can find any number of equivalent fraction for a given fraction. To find out equivalent fraction of a given fraction, not only multiplication, we can also divide to get equivalent fraction. Let's take 4 upon 14. Here we can divide the numerator and denominator by the same non-zero number. Non-zero number means apart from 0, it can be any number. Here both 4 and 14 are there in 2 times table. So let's divide it by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. We got here 2 upon 7. So equivalent fraction of 4 upon 14 is 2 upon 7. What did we observe here? Either we multiply or we divide to get its equivalent fraction. 12 upon 20 is a fraction here. Now we are going to find out three equivalent fractions for this given fraction by dividing. Both 12 and 20 are in 2 times table. So 12 divided by 2 and 20 divided by 2. We are dividing by the same number. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So 6 upon 10 is one equivalent fraction. The same way, we will divide with one more number. Both numerator and denominator they are there in 4 times table. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So 3 upon 5 is also one equivalent fraction for 12 upon 20. So 12 upon 20 equivalent fractions are here 6 upon 10 and 3 upon 5. Okay. This is one way to find out equivalent fraction. So equivalent fractions we can find out either by multiplying by the same number to the numerator and denominator, or by dividing the same number by the numerator and the denominator. Let's see one example of equivalent fractions by multiplying by dividing. 5 upon 6 is there. Let's find out three equivalent fractions for this. 5 by 6 we can multiply by any number. Let's take 2 here. 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 2 is 12. 5 upon 6 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 6 times 3 is 18. 5 upon 3 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. 6 times 4 is 24. So here 5 by 6 three equivalent fractions are 10 by 12, 15 by 18, 20 upon 24. These are the three equivalent fraction. We can write infinite equivalent fractions for the given fraction by multiplying. Let's see to find out the equivalent fraction by dividing. 60 upon 72 is there. Here we can find three equivalent fractions for 60 upon 72. So first let's divide 60 upon 72 by 2, because these two are even numbers, which is both are divisible by 2 based on the divisibility rules. 60 divided by 2 is 30 and 72 divided by 2 is 36. The same way, if we divide here 30 upon 36, 15 upon 18, 20 upon 24 are three equivalent fractions for 60 upon 72. Okay. Now, let's solve some questions based on equivalent fractions. Here, the question is find an equivalent fraction of 2 upon 5 with numerator 8. The fraction is 2 upon 5 and numerator was given as 8. We have to find out the denominator. Now, let's see the relation between 2 and 8. 2 times how much is 8? We know that 2 times 4 is 8. So, let's multiply both numerator and denominator by 4, because 2 times 4 equals to 8. So, the relation between 2 and 8 is here multiplying by 4. So, the same relation we apply here to the denominator. 2 times 4 equals to 8. 5 times 4 equals to 20. So, the required fraction is 8 upon 20. Okay, let's see some other kind of question. Here the question is find the next three equivalent fractions of 3 upon 4. We know that to find out the equivalent fraction of any fraction by multiplying or by dividing. Here we can't divide 3 upon 4 further, because both 3 and 4 are not there in any times table. So let's multiply both numerator and denominator by the same number. Let's take 2 here. 3 times 2 is 6 and 4 times 2 is 8. 6 upon 8 is one fraction. The same way, upon 8, 9 upon 12, 15 upon 20 are equivalent fractions of 3 upon 4. 3 upon 4 is equals to 6 upon 8 equals to 9 upon 12 equals to 15 upon 20. Here they are asking only three equivalent fractions. That's why we are writing three equivalent fractions. If they ask us to write 5 equivalent fractions, we have to write 5 equivalent fractions by multiplying the numerator and denominator by the same number. Okay, let's see the next question. Find an equivalent fraction of 3 upon 5 with denominator 15. That means 3 upon 5, and we do not know the numerator. Denominator is 15. We have to find out numerator. To get 15 in the denominator, we are multiplying 5 by 3 to get 15. And thus we are multiplying at the denominator. That means we also multiply by the same number in the numerator. So 3 times 3 is 9. The equivalent fraction of 3 upon 5 with the denominator 15 is, numerator is 9, because we multiplied both the numbers by 3. 3 upon 5 and 9 upon 15 are equivalent fractions. Okay. Now let's learn an important property of equivalent fractions. Consider 3 upon 5 and 12 upon 20. These two are equivalent fractions. But how do we know that these two are equivalent fractions or not equivalent fractions? Find out whether two fractions are equivalent fractions or not. Multiply the numerator of 3 by 5 by the denominator of 12 by 20. That means 3 times 20 equals to 60. Now multiply denominator of 3 upon 5 to the numerator of 12 upon 20, which is 5 times 12, and we are getting 60. We get that both products are same. That means these two fractions are equivalent fractions. What did we do? We multiplied first fraction denominator, second fraction numerator. We also multiplied first fraction numerator with the second fraction denominator. Basically, we do the cross multiplication. When we are doing the cross multiplication, both the products should be same. Then those two fractions are equivalent fractions. Let's solve some questions based on finding out whether two fractions are equivalent or not. Are 2 upon 3 and 10 upon 15 equivalent fractions? Let's cross multiply. 2 upon 3, 10 upon 15. First numerator with the second fraction denominator. First fraction denominator with the second fraction numerator. Here 2 times 15, which is 30. 3 times 10, which is 30. Both the products are equal. Hence 2 upon 3 and 10 upon 15 are equivalent. Okay. Now let's see another question based on the equivalent fractions. Are 4 by 5 and 16 by 18 equivalent fractions? 4 upon 5, 16 upon 18. Let's cross multiply. 4 times 18, 72. 5 times 16, 80. Are the products are same? No, the products are not same. So 4 upon 5 and 16 upon 18 are not equivalent fractions. Okay, I hope you understand how to find out whether the two fractions are equivalent fractions or not. So far we had seen that what are equivalent fractions, how to find two or more equivalent fractions for a given fraction, and how to check whether the two fractions are equivalent or not. Okay, I'll meet you in the next class with another topic in the fractions.